Welcome everyone, Christine here with Boris Ursus' campaign in Total War Warhammer 3 on the legendary difficulty. Very hard battle difficulty, so this is as close to maximum potential as the AI can get. Actually, it is the maximum potential in terms of campaign situations. It's just like battle stat bonuses. This campaign is ridiculously easy, ridiculously strong Legendary Lord. You will not have a problem dealing with this campaign. It is, however, the kind of campaign where you can fall into a trap. But one of the things you may hear with regards to this campaign is how it is difficult. It may not be the greatest campaign in the game. That's a different discussion altogether. But it's certainly not a hard campaign, if you have a decent idea of how to play it. Now, there's all kind of things you can exploit with Kislev. And because of the way Kislev is designed as race, you're pretty much incentivized to do so. And that is absolutely a problem. I will not deny that that is absolutely a problem. So over here, just how to resolve your first battle. This is, by the way, something they can do in Boris's campaign that you rarely can do in other campaigns. Get a room marcher, get replenished troops, and I would love to move over here, but we don't start with the stone. That is a bit unfortunate. Okay, over here, what we want to do is get the roadhouse, because we want that lovely, lovely growth. And another thing we're also going to want to do is start getting ice sculpting. Now, here's one of the things you can use with Kislev. You can play any campaign, though I'd recommend Cask Costalton, and save a bunch of ice switches and frost maidens with good traits they can then load in another campaign, or awful traits as is the case in that one. But then you get things like control, armor, upkeep for war slits. I'm not going to use it in this campaign, but I just want to point out that it is something you can do, and it is one of the ways you completely trivialize the game as Kislev. So anyway, get Ursun's Roar, because what we want to do over here is get towards battle with him, get the replenishment of course, and just get another Boyar. So in this case, we're going to get Strongholder. Pretty good choice. I think I'm actually going to save this particular character, because I think I might want to use him. Though, truth be told, you would almost always want to use an ice switch lord. And what we're going to do here is we're going to march. Now, one of the things to be said about Boris Ursus, he does have the supporter system, but he doesn't have to give a shit about it. Beyond 50 supporters, because you can confederate all of Kislev within 10 turns. I'm not exaggerating that particular point. And you can absolutely dominate this map in those turns. Though people would argue, oh, that's extreme cheese. It is, to be sure, but it can be done. And that's kind of one of the problems at Kislev, because you're kind of incentivized to do it. By the way, this campaign only has 2 mods enabled. One is better camera mod, the other one is toggle fog of war, just so I can explain the map. See, the reason you want to do that is because due to the huge concentration of legendary lords, be it Frot, Azazel, Arbol, Archeon close enough, Azak, Drika, Goldfag, because of all these legendary lords here, you kind of want to preserve these minor Kislev factions so you can confederate them. One of the benefits of Boris Ursus is that he doesn't need supporters to win his campaign. He doesn't need the special cities of Kislev. That's just a benefit. But one of the things he can do is he can resell settlements with no cost, no colonization cost. And there just so happen to be 2 settlements that are ruined over here that CA added in Shouts of Change. Why do you think they added them there? Whether or not you think CA designed this campaign so that you'd be incentivized to leave this province, or they designed it so that you would connect to Kislev while still fighting over this province, that is, you know, your personal perspective on that subject. Anyway, so over here, we're just going to march on the monolith. Right here. And we're also going to take that Boyar that we just recruited with us. We're going to get another Boyar to send over for those ruins, because I do still need to get to level 6, first and foremost. Now, you can auto-resolve your way for most of this campaign. Would I recommend it? It depends on how you want to do it. Like, I've certainly been able to manage it, but it can be a bit tricky with regards to that. So over here, we just want to be on the edge.
Reborn for Kislev.
Over there, we should be able to reach that settlement. So just get more recruitment. Now, the problem that you will certainly encounter in the Boris Ursus campaign, his army has immunity to cast waste attrition, but his faction does not. Maybe it should. Maybe there should be a way to get that. Regardless, he does certainly need certain faction effects or a unique mechanic to his campaign. I'm not going to dispute that. That objective, invoke the motherland 10 times. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Because that lasts 10 turns. It's like, oh, you can get 9,000. That's literally a 10-turn freaking ability, and you'd be really... So it's like, yeah, I'm totally going to play this campaign for 100 turns. No. This is a very easy campaign. Now, anything that is more difficult to pull off in this campaign is kind of fluff. And I say that it's kind of fluff because, again, your objectives are defeat Archeon, deal with Daniel. There's ways around that. You may actually go for this entire campaign without having to fight a single battle manually. So over here, we just take the settlement. Not a problem. And what we want is a church, a barracks, more growth. Let's go with that.
Anything for Kislev. I stand for Kislev.
We do want to force march this lord right here, though. And this one. Force march right here. Now, why am I carrying with me another lord? There is an actual logic to it. See, more lords help your auto-resolve result, beyond the fact that they actually help you in battle, right? But they also help you out in one other particular way. They help you out in terms of your faction strength. So the more stuff you have, the more your faction strength. The more stronger you are, the more you can do things like this. It is a lot of money. I could have fought those battles manually. Now, why would you want that piece of ground? Because I kind of want to hold on to this initial settlement. And I also want to maybe recruit another army, though not now. Not necessarily at the moment. When a rebellion is about to start, when other things are about to happen. Now, you could, I've made the argument before, Shadows of Change, before Shadows of Change, that the best thing you could do was abandon your initial province. That's not really where I stand right now. I think that the best thing you could do as Boris Ursus at the moment would be to stick around in your initial province. So, okay. Now, we want to move that... we want to move some of these troops in this army right here, the ones that need replenishment. These two guys right here. I'd say also the warbear riders, maybe. Yep. And just force march with Boris with all the troops that don't need it right here. So we got these two structures. And yeah, I think it's time to start recruiting another lord right here. Just, like, I'm not using anything from SOC. Okay, so we can... One thing we are going to take advantage of is declarations of war. I think there are cheeses and then there are cheeses, and I think that is a really reasonable one as far as I see it, in terms of what you should use, what you can use. There are things that are complete bullshit, don't get me wrong on that. What we want here is to start getting the Tower of Torment to tier 2. Because that would give us access to a barracks. You want to get the armor cossars as quickly as possible. One of the problems in Catherine's campaign, Boris's campaign, is that it takes a while to get those armor cossars, and regular cossars just aren't really going to cut it in a lot of freaking ways. So anyway, we got the Ice Court unlocked. The next thing you're going to want is Ice Court Indoctrination. And over here, we are going to take this element. But it's kind of worth saying. Get more of these guys, no problem. So you can see the Lizargs are not especially happy with me, but that's fine. Now right here, let's take a look at what declarations of war we have available. So we got Epidemius, we got the Demon Prince. If I had managed, so let's see what we can do right here.
Cut them down.
Okay, it says Pyrrhic victory.
To Ursun,
I'm not playing that.
Lord of the provinces. I will impale them. Take their
I
head.
think though, okay, so when you're in this situation, we're dealing with Slaaneshi factions, and you're attacking one of their settlements, and you don't want to waste your fucking time. Just
There is with us. We have armies
work with
to
that.
feed. Lord of all.
Don't get me started on Patriarchs taking that level of damage, because yes, it is a level of bullshittery.
The lost Tsar
Anyway.
returns. It is Ursun's
So now we
wish.
can get a reseller for free.
With this I serve.
We can also get this Patriarch to a higher level,
Bow before me.
and we can get Red March
With
right
this,
here.
my rule is absolute. Gospodar,
And we do need more money,
another province for me.
but I wouldn't worry too much about that one, because there are ways we are going to be able to get more money. Just don't do any dumb declarations of war and you'll be fine. Okay.
Never
So here we're 2 turns. Okay.
bow to me.
2 freaking turns. 1 turn. I think I can already sell this. And yes, there are things we can use
I shall
in this situation.
hack, grind, cook, and
And look for other opportunities to be able to declare war on other factions to take advantage of it. Because again, we can take advantage of it. There are ways we can do this, and we can really make a lot of things easier in a substantial number of ways, like Archeon showing up over there. This is why this campaign is a joke. Because you know Archeon is always going to go for that settlement, at least on this difficulty. Obviously things might change, you know, patches and all that. But in this version, if you follow these steps, he will always do it. He will always move like that in this situation in Force March. Like, I've played this campaign, I've tried this campaign several times now. It has always freaking happened. Every single time. And that's the reason I came here. So, here's what we do. Now, if you want more money, there are ways around that too. But I would say the garrison is more important than any of this. Now, in this situation, we are going to have to fight them manually. That's fine. We can win that. It's no problem. You might take some casualties, but as long as you defeat Archeon, that is all that matters. We also have an opportunity to make more money. We could have sold the settlement to him. What is important though is that Boris is mounted. The reason that's important is we want to deal with the Hell Cannon very, very quickly over here. So this is the only battle you may have to fight in this campaign. And even then, dependent on the movement, if I were to say have recruited more troops, had gotten an extra boyar or anything like that, maybe it wouldn't have been necessary. But in this case, it is. So with regards to this battle, one of the problems that you may have is drawing Archeon to you. There are multiple ways to skin this cat, though. Oh, so many ways. One of the things you could do is set up an ambush. The reason you might want him to attack you as opposed to you attacking him is that when he's attacking, he will be incentivized. Well, we could always deploy there. Yeah, I think we will. Nice, solid little ground, good terrain. There's always something that can make it work, right? So what we're interested in doing here is luring Mr. Archeon to come and attack us. Now, if I had a mage, I'd just go and cast a couple of spells. That's one of the reasons why recruiting one of those mages so very early on in a Kislev campaign makes such a significant freaking difference. Because now I have to risk my entire cavalry to accomplish something a single mage would do with significantly less risk. As you might imagine, that is pretty annoying. Which is one of the reasons I firmly recommend that if you're serious about playing a Kislev campaign, that you should do things differently. Insanely. Okay. Oof. Let him waste his ammo there. We got time. And even in the terrain here, like, we just don't want that hell cannon to shoot at their troops. If we can manage that, battle's won easily. No problem. So that was the toughest battle that you may face in this entire campaign. Everything else, including Arbol, who can recruit a lot more units than Archeon, but Archeon just has that magic, that hell cannon, all those lovely freaking things. We got Destroyer, or Doomslayer.
Boris Ursus himself.
So yeah, that would be about it right here, gents. Also could have made it easier, but really it does boil down to that hell cannon. Pretty much. So now we have all of the money that we need for everything that we do need.
Kislev's chosen.
In this situation.
How fair my provinces?
As for Arbol, don't worry about that. That will be easy enough to deal with. You see this settlement that you just took there? Next turn we can sell it to Arbol. Take all his money away. Again, you might say it's cheese, but diplomacy is part of the fucking game. This is not... Like, if you think it's an exploit to get an integration pack that you know is going to be broken by a faction, fair enough, but is it necessary? Not really. It's just beneficial. Or the alternative, sell it to the Cornet faction. Some people would have an issue with this, I know. I don't really care.
Denied. Demons.
Decisive victory.
They are nothing.
Can we? Yep.
Permits us to risk.
As for the situation over here, simple enough, right? What are we gonna do here, though? Well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a non-aggression pact in exchange for being left alone right here for a while. It won't hold. It's just more. It's about control. It's about creating a situation where you can predict what the AI is going to do and how they're going to do it. You know that Arbol is going to break that agreement. As for what's happening here,
others may rule Kislev
just
in name, but
don't engage right now with Prague diplomatically.
Hear me roar.
But let's take a look at this situation with supporters.
Bow before me. Noble men do not harm.
Yes, there's going to be a bit of attrition damage. Now, as for what's happening here, we can sell the monolith of Festerlung to the Cornet faction. It just eliminates the chaff. We don't need that settlement. Truthfully, we don't need any settlement right now. Some people have an issue and say it's like, oh, you're abandoning your initial promise. No, I'm not. I am not abandoning my initial promise. I'm just playing it smart. Even Malachi struggles against Archaon with a full stack of troops. Malachi. And he has a much easier time. But yeah. Don't play like this. Get the fucking mage. And stop whining about, like, some people that whine about, like, ooh, it's cheese. Stop whining. It's, yeah, there's exploits. It's up to CA to fix those. If they can't, if they don't fix them, they don't care. Simple as that. That's my point of view. So just take the settlement.
Hear me roar! I will impale them!
An unusual location. Where? Here? No. Here. What does this do? I think it's a Slaneshi little thing. Yeah, get the control. And we are going to possibly get another rebellion.
Lord of the provinces. My decision is law. Sacrifice to Ursun. Power is right. Seeking
We might disband him.
the bear is with us. Ursun's disciple.
There goes Archaon's little
Boris
puppet.
Ursus.
Get some
I
replenishment.
return.
Now, why bring a second lord? Well, it can be useful if you have another army in a capital. Although, yeah, I will disband that because it's like, he's level 4, so might as well.
A tool fit for a lord. The bear asks it.
Yep. Get impassioned. And right here, this specific skill is
The great
extremely
bear
useful.
rewards me.
More Root Marcher
No
right
other
here.
may wield it.
Know well that I am accustomed to getting you pay.
And what you wanted to start doing here, well, we are at 30 supporters. We don't care more than like we could sell territory to so many factions over here. Ask, why sell that specific territory to Arbol? What is the purpose? Well, one of the things is I'm kind of hoping to set up trap for Arbol. Because Archaon is gone, right? It's finished, complete, whatever, right? That army, he won't recover. My concern is Arbol. That's one of the reasons I'm removing his money. And mind you, he still has money. It's not like I took all of his money. I was more interested in non-aggression pact, really, in that state of affairs.
Find a fight. Wow, before me. On your feet.
I think...
Unearth chaos, filth. Lord of all.
So get rid of this.
Kislev.
We want the church. Research-wise, get cold storage, start training your Ice Switch Lords, sell.
Others may rule Kislev in name, but I am your true authority.
Sell the Frozen Landing to Prague. Again, you might say, oh, you're removing their money. Well, I think people shouldn't ignore the fact that the reason we do this region trading is to guarantee Confederation, not necessarily so much to remove the money from a faction. That's kind of a secondary effect because, like, I'm not putting these factions in a deliberate bankruptcy just for what it's worth. Now, the question I'm interested in... Okay, so I'm going to aim... I'm going to wait for another rebellion right there. While I deal with Archaon. But yeah, here, you need to get the barracks. Go rush Archaon. He won't be able to stop you. He can try, but he doesn't have another hell cannon. That was actually the only thing. Like, my army can defeat his in melee. If you get hit by the hell cannon, it just kills your Sarguard, it kills your armor Kossars, you lose those. That's when things get a bit nasty.
Boris Ursus himself.
So yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Taste my... I
Yeah,
will
as I said.
impale them.
Legendary, very hard, and it's not modded. Do you know how I can prove it's not modded? Because I played other campaigns. But you can see, like, those are mods I don't have active here, including increase auto resolve point. That is the main one that I do use.
Of Kislev's
That's how you know it's not modded.
Lord of all,
Okay.
Lord of the provinces.
Leave now if you are prone to time wasting.
So now everything that's going on over here in Prague is more.
We are.
Like the motherland.
The motherland endures. Never yield.
Yeah, get a church. We can disable the income, we don't need it. We can even dismiss him. We don't need him.
I follow the bear.
As for the structures here, so right here, always go for Tempest Mages.
You have
Now
friends
really
in
it's just a
hiding.
matter of kind of waiting. Or that is sweet. Genuinely, that is pretty bloody sweet, not gonna lie.
This is my province.
So Arbol seems that he is going to keep up his end of the bargain.
Reborn.
For how long? That's the campaign, sort of. You might get a couple of rebellions, you might get a couple of issues, all these kind of things, right? Not really relevant. Arcan does still have a force somewhere. I have no idea where it is, but we'll worry about that. So, I've manipulated Arbol into wiping out the Bloody Sword. So quite a few turns later, well, Arbol inevitably declared war on me. I went to deal with Daniel. He, of course, used that opportunity to strike against me. And Daniel, or rather Demon Prince, is certainly an annoying little bastard, isn't he? But that's why we have Epidemius over here. So that's my capital. Right. How about we sell this settlement before that becomes my capital and let him have have that one. Bit weird, I admit, seeing as I never lost the Howling Citadel. And fun fact though,
Your bargaining must be in. We are.
even though they did break my alliance when I did declare war on Daniel in this case, it's kinda well, okay. I see why he was willing to confederate with me. I understand. But this is kind of good. It's kind of normal to confederate Prague when, if they survive, if they get to tier 3. Like the moment you reach this stage, like honestly the moment you kill Archeon, it's GG, well played.
Lord of the provinces.
Everything else, as I just stated, like this is an incredibly lucky circumstance. Do I want to obliterate them? As for Arbol, he's skulking around somewhere here. He actually just finished destroying the Tower of Torment.
Sister of
So yeah,
ice,
these
the
armies,
snowbringer.
I mean, there's Fraud, medium casualties, whatever.
Honor your motherland. They warrant the lowest station.
Do I risk it all?
Waste of time.
I am the storm.
But even so, the money I have there is more than sufficient, and there's other ways to skin the cat, so to speak, right? Sell some stuff. And get him freaking involved in all of this. I mean, I know he has his hands full with other stuff, but
Let us discuss, stately.
Seems Katrin needs my help. Big surprise there. That does usually happen. Speaking about Katrin, though, I do wonder if he's still alive. I don't. So let's take a look at this campaign map, right? One of the reasons, and to explain a couple of things, one of the reasons you want to cheese with Kislev, and one of the reasons people say, oh, it's a hard campaign, this happens. Because Stalin gets wiped out, the supporter system freezes, Kislev gets wiped out. This is why you want to cheese the supporter system. Like people talk about, like, oh, you shouldn't talk about exploiting it. Like, I'm going to refrain from using language because it's not professional, but if you're ignoring the fact that if you don't, this is the fundamental issue with Kislev. If you don't use that region trading ridiculousness, this is what happens. Kastalton dies, Katrin potentially dies, Prague gets wiped out, and you're in this cycle where you don't need these settlements to win, right? Like, you don't need any of this. Like, your victory conditions do not require any settlement whatsoever. Your objectives are to wipe out the Imperative Heralds of Tempest, which Tamarkan might do for you, and Daniel. That's the reason I went after him. Didn't quite work out, but, you know, maybe Epidemius will do me a freaking favor. Or maybe not, by the looks of it. Seems like he's getting his ass whooped. All the same, that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. This is why you want to abuse region trading. This is why you want to abuse diplomacy. This is why you want to abuse, you know, the confederations that you can do as Boris Ursus, where you can gain all of Kislev within 10 freaking turns. Because if you don't, this will happen. And all your campaign will be is running around with an army like this, with regiments running on whatever the hell you can recruit globally, you know, constantly running out of money. Like, that's the difference between Kislev and a race like Greenskins. Because you don't, like, yeah, you can benefit in Gorbat's campaign from this. You don't need to do this to have a good campaign with Gorbat. You do need to do this to have any kind of realistic shot in a situation like the one you're seeing right here. So could I run anywhere? That is a question. Maybe I should have thought. Maybe I should just disband these armies. And that's the point I'm getting at. Over here.
Render me unassailable. Frostweaver.
How strong is the garrison? Seems it took a bit of damage, but we can make it recover. Point. I hope people understand it and comprehend why, yes, you can use settlement region trading as Karl Franz to gain control of Marienburg very quickly, which apparently does seem to have happened here. Sure. But it is not the same. It's not a hard campaign. It is just a campaign with a lot of bullshit, because all Kislev campaigns are with a mountain of bullshit. But I'm going to use obnoxious game mechanics and cheese that can help you with that with difficulty. Those are two separate things. Kostin signing out.